Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
We really should have, before we go on the air, cameras or whatever here.
Oh, hell no.
The best stuff
because that would be used against us in a court of law.
The best stuff we ever talk about is when we're not on the air. It's so funny. Well, cheers, by the way.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
New water.
Yeah. What do you think
This
of
is like, you know what? It tastes like water.
It's modified H2O.
So basically, and we talked about this before, that little water, when you were in Vegas, like, well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It makes potable water out of the air.
Yeah.
So it's a potable, because you can't drink water from a dehumidifier.
Right.
But this is good. And
Yeah.
and I asked you too, because so it's filtered. It pulls in moisture out of the out of the air. And then it's
been just so, and everybody's wondering, the first question I always
what's it
get,
called again?
It's a Kira water, Kara water, and it's a water cooler, everybody. So this thing makes about 5 gallons of water a day in our office. We've had it for a couple days now. We moved the water cooler down the hall.
It's not hooked up to a water line.
No.
You could put it anywhere you want.
Anywhere you want. And it's been an average of about 13% humidity the whole time it's been running. And yet here we are drinking the water.
I like it.
Yeah.
Tastes like water. Now, I asked you too, it's like, because it pulls the humidity, the moisture out of the air,
Right.
and then purifies it
Yep.
with a CO2 filter,
Yes.
and then it adds what
There's
it needs to for
Yeah, there's like seven minerals.
and
then
so it's regular water.
And then it's set at 9.2 pH as well. So it's
Because I asked you about that because
Yeah.
I was like, because one of the
it's like buying the smart water.
yeah, and I drink alkali water all the
Yeah.
time because it's good for you in moderation, and I'm like, wow, you're making your own pH water.
So this is their selling points. We make water from air, so forget about that chlorine taste, bacteria in your tap water, or drinking microplastics from your bottled water, and switch to the Kira Pure today.
I like it.
So there you go. Yeah, stop kicking me.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So and it's kind of sexy too, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of got this sleek.
Although I walked in and I had my big water bottle and I went to fill, and I'm like, Marlo, do you have a can opener? I can widen this.
Yeah, it's designed to put like cups and
Yeah.
glasses in it, not your oversized
Taller,
water
thinner,
bottle thing.
yeah.
But
Not the
you
big
could
stainless
always
steel
just have
thermos.
have something there that you can fill up and pop off your water bottle.
It's pretty cool.
So,
Yeah, it tastes great. It tastes. Yeah. What I like about it is the portability. I mean, you don't have to have water plumbed into a spot. Like your refrigerator.
I never really thought about.
You
that
can put
before.
it anywhere you want.
In a place, and I'm just thinking like out in the oil field or something, right? Where
Yeah.
you have these little offices or whatever.
They go through a lot of bottled water.
Yeah, and trying to plumb water into something like that.
Yeah, you're not.
It's expensive, I would have to imagine.
Or you have to bring water in.
Right.
If you do have like a work trailer that is plumbed,
Yeah.
you have to bring water in,
Yeah.
refill the tanks for that. Nope,
No.
you got water.
No, I mean, these are not cheap.
You got a musty old basement. Hey, where's the
They're-
water cooler? Well,
they're
it's
like-
down in the musty old. We're cleaning that up too.
Yeah, it seems to me like $4,500, something like that for this unit. But you never have to fill it full of water ever again. You let it run for 48 hours to get its initial thing going, and then you have 5 gallons a day. I mean, it's not enough for an office of 100, but if you have 5 or 10 people, that's plenty of water.
We talk about connectivity a lot. We don't talk about deconnectivity. And I think a lot of technology, the ability to deconnect from a cord. I've switched over to, I've got Midco, so I have the Midco TV, so I don't have a cord.
Right.
I can put a TV anywhere I want. All those devices, I can put them anywhere I want.
Yeah.
I'm not connected to a wall.
I believe the word is democratization, right? Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll go with deconnectivity because I'm not even trying to pronounce that one. But technology, like your water cooler, you can put it anywhere you want. You're deconnected from that water line. That's the amazing part of technology to me that I think we don't talk about enough. The ability to be mobile, the ability to disconnect from, go back to cell phones.
Yeah.
It's like we were all connected to that cord and the phone on the wall. And now we're not.
And now people don't even know what that is.
Well, but look at how, if you're waiting for a phone call, an important phone call, you were stuck in your house and look what life-changing degree that was where I can go do something else, and when I need that important phone call, I got it.
I've never even thought about that before, but you're right.
The deconnectivity.
I used to wait around the phone all the time.
Yeah.
I'll call you about 8 o'clock and you're like about 8 and then it's 8:10, 8:15. Or if you get there and it's 8:02 and you're like, I might have missed a phone call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But think about that as far as just the big picture technology, the deconnectivity or whatever that word you used.
Democratization.
We'll go with that. Look what that's done to people's lives.
I'm feeling smart today.
That has changed the entire landscape of how we live.
I'm just sitting here drinking my mighty fine
It's good water too.
It actually is pretty good. And it actually has a hot button on it too. I don't know how hot
I was just talking to Wendy about it. It's like, well, we're out of pH water, so we were going to have to buy another case. I'm like,
so that's actually,
should just buy one of these.
It's actually relatively expensive, isn't it? pH water.
Yeah.
I mean, I buy it for $3 or $4 when I go buy a bottle of water. The smart bottles.
If you buy it by the case at a Sam's Club or Costco or it's
a little more than the regular.
$12 a case.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little more than the regular.
They're bigger bottles too.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a little bit more expensive.
Okay.
It's really good for hangovers.
Yeah, that's what you said. I'll test it sometime, maybe.
Well, you got to get the acidity out of your blood system.
I suppose.
It works for that. That's what pH water does.
But yeah, the car up here, it's a car up here 2 is the new model. And it has
there's a 2 already?
Yes. It has
you have the 2 or the 1?
We have the 2.
What'd the 1 look like?
It had a smaller area to put your cups and stuff into.
Okay, so I can't wait till the 3 comes out and I can get my thermos water bottle.
You know what they should have? They should have a little nozzle on the front of it that you could use as well. That would make a lot of sense.
Here, watch my water machine pee. Let's play Chutes and Ladders.
Oh, boy. It has it's the larger screen, ultrafiltration system, 99.99% purity and enhanced taste. I'm just reading off of their.
So is the alkaline, is that adjustable? Can you make non-pH water?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I think it's part of the filtration system.
Well, that's coming in Model 3. So
Car Appears water has 7 rare minerals that promote healthy bones, cleaner skin, and an alkaline diet. All you have to do is plug it in, and the Car Appear produces up to 10 liters of pure, healthy, and great tasting water every day.
Well, that's some high quality H2O, Marlo.
It is.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
Well, in case you're just joining us, we are enjoying our water from air. Water from air. Car Up Here. So we talked to these people at CES, and now we have a machine here.
It's pretty cool.
And we're just drinking the water that it made right out of the air. That is cool when you really think about that. I mean, I know clouds are formed. I mean, all of the environmental thing that happened because of rain is water from air too. I mean, the right conditions have to happen and you get a little water. This just kind of...
But with this, you're not getting your carpet wet. That
is true. Very true. So I think it's really cool. And I'm excited to have it here. And anyway, it's actually...
Well, like I said, the deconnectivity or whatever that word you used, it's like, that's the, hey, let's stick it here, let's stick it there, because you're not plumbed into the wall. You're not attached to something.
Right.
You could stick it anywhere.
So it's $4,900 is what this machine runs. They do have a payment plan of $237.58 a month. So if you're paying $8 for a 5-gallon bottle of water.
Okay, so you have a regular bottled water machine. What does that service cost you?
Yeah, I mean, if we had 5 gallons of water coming in, I think it's like $8 for $5. If you go fill it, like at the water hut or whatever, which is why we did this.
The water hut.
Well, there's a little water hut down the street from here yet, but the thing hasn't been working for 2 years, right? So then we got to trek up to...
You know who can fix that for you?
I don't know.
Talk to Jabba.
Okay.
Jabba the water hut.
Jabba the water hut. So then we have to trek up to, the grocery store or a super store or whatever. And I mean, just the time it takes. I mean, I think about a paid staff person, we're all paid, right? I mean, we're all paid. So if it takes a half hour or 45 minutes to go get your $1.75 bottle of water or 2 of them or whatever you're getting, right? I mean, you have $20 easy into that by the time you chase after it. Easy, right? So if you're replacing, if your office is going through 5 gallons a day, it would be easy. You're going to get your money back in this pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds expensive, but if you break out the costs and all the things that go into,
chase after water, or if you pay somebody to bring it by at $8 a bottle, and you need 4 or 5 of those a week, that's another $30 to $40 a week, right? If you go on the payment plan with them, it's $237.58 a month. So
I can't wait till the bigger one comes out so I can get my water bottle in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get a big water bottle.
Yes, you do.
But first thing I thought about though is what's the next iteration of something like this technology?
So the reason that I've been following this technology for years, and I've been thinking about it on a much larger scale. Like, what can we do on a larger scale? And that's what I've been following. I wasn't aware that they were working on stuff to just put into the office building or in your home.
So as far as the filtration system, which we said is CO2 filter, which is carbon.
Yep.
It's a carbon filter. How does this work with desalinization? Because that's the first place I go is, you take a place like California.
Yeah, you just put the machines along the edge of the water there. That's higher humidity means that you can probably produce more water. Yeah, right?
You're going to have salty water, but you should be able to filter that out.
Well, because
a desalinization plant is expensive and expansive. Right. Can this get mocked up to a larger scale and work the same way?
So you can get. So when water evaporates, when you're in high humidity areas, I mean, there isn't salt in the air, is there? Unless you're really close.
Oh, absolutely. Have you spent time by the beach?
Not like you, obviously.
Okay, so I used to play semi-pro volleyball in California on the beach. And the first thing you did when you left, wash your car.
Really?
So I spent a lot of time in Newport and Balboa.
Was that just because of ocean spray, though?
No,
or is it just the humidity?
Humidity.
It does pick up a little salt.
You get a lot of fog, not a little salt. So I lived in Michigan, which is probably the worst state for salting roads that we have in the country. They salt the crap out of it. So everybody's car, if you don't keep up and wash it regularly, looks like a rust bucket.
Okay.
It's worse in California when I lived there.
Really?
Yeah. The cars you would see in Newport and Balboa, because there's a little bowl there, so they get a lot of fog. Kind of like San Francisco. They get the fog.
Yep.
Where you get the fog, it's salt fog.
Yep.
And it's a lot of salt in the air.
So I just looked this up. Salt from the ocean is a major component of the condensation nuclei that form coastal fog in California. Salt comes from the sea spray and surf. So it actually does
kicks up
and does get
carries
into the
inland.
fog. Yeah. Interesting. I guess I always just thought that fog was just basically humidity. I didn't think that it picked up other things, but I guess it makes sense, right? So I don't know. I would imagine that they would probably figure out a way to get this. I'm sure the filtration part would get the salt out, but.
Well, looking at your water machine, your Kara, to me, it's like, okay, this is a great start for where this could go from a technology perspective.
So they do have much larger machines. That's kind of where I was going with this. I hadn't thought about the salt issue in California. I think about the issues around us in the upper Midwest here. And I think about, and I've actually been getting some play with this lately.
All that dust in the air?
I think we're uniquely positioned here in North Dakota. And again, I know a lot of people listen to this program a long ways away, but I just look at our challenges around here. And, you get to the end of the summer and our creeks are drying up and all of this stuff, right? Why don't we utilize what we have in the cold in the winter and create artificial glaciers? And with artificial glaciers, they would slowly melt in the summertime. You would have that little bit of cooling, because a lot of people think about us as being cold. If you're not from here, the first thing people always ask me is, how can you live when it's so cold? I'm like, I have been in Vegas.
40 degrees this week.
Yeah. And I have been in Vegas when it's 105 there and it's 110 here.
Lafayette, Louisiana has almost more snow than we do right now for the winter.
So there you go. I mean, it's always amazing to me that people think that way. So anyway, but we do have cold. There's no doubt that we have cold. So we could make artificial glaciers using this technology with much bigger units. And then in the summertime, it slowly melts and it goes into a stock dam, into a creek or whatever. And then you also have cooling for the data centers that we have coming to the state. So then they would have all year cooling, not just 5 or 6 months a year.
Yeah, the first thing I thought of, and what I mentioned when I saw the water machine, is like, okay, the next iteration for me is, I'm a big fan of the movie Dune.
Oh, yes.
The original one, it's like, okay, where do I get the suit?
Yeah. That'll be coming next, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, it's like, where would that have an application?
Yeah.
Oh, we're on Mars?
Absolutely.
And we're back. Don't miss a minute of the Tech Ranch as we explore the cutting edge of tech with Marlo and Steve. For more exclusive content, visit thetechranch.com.
So we've been talking about our new machine that we have here that makes water from air. It's as simple as that.
Boom.
So if you're just joining us,
but it's potable water.
Yeah,
so
we're drinking it. We're actually drinking this.
It is a little like
tasty.
a dehumidifier, but it's got other components to actually make it potable water, so which is drinkable water.
Right. So and
it's very tasty.
It's tasty. It's good stuff. And
does water actually have a taste?
I don't think so. I think it's the minerals and things that you add to it that make it taste better. And they have this filtration pack that adds.
You taste all these chemicals that are.
Yeah, you do.
Like, so if you go drink city water, you can taste. And depending on the city you're in, you can taste the chemicals.
And it is funny that like in the city of Mandan where we're at, people who live in smaller towns that come here and what kind of water do you have? Well, we have tap water. Well, tap water in Mandan is fine because it tastes good.
Right.
And you're like, where do you come from?
And across the river in Bismarck, they got great water too.
Yeah.
So
where are you coming from that your water in your house doesn't taste good, But you never know. I mean, it could be coming from a well, or they just don't have the same.
I'm from Flint, Michigan.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. You definitely want one of these machines if you live in Flint, Michigan.
So anyway, it's a machine that makes about 5 gallons of water a day. It states in its stuff that it does 10 liters a day, which of course isn't 5 gallons, but they were making 5 gallons a day with this down at CES when we seen it. And I'm
guessing that's a little variable depending on how much humidity is in the air.
Yeah. But they said that, they estimate low so that people don't have bigger expectations, but it does make more or less depending on how much humidity is in the air. So fog harvesting. So Steve had just brought up something about the fog in California and, desalinization of it or whatever, but there's actually a move on. Fog harvesting is a technique that turns water droplets from fog into a usable water source. This is interesting. It's a sustainable technology that's especially useful in areas where fresh water is scarce. This has been talked about for a while, but is now actually making some headway in California.
Really?
So there you go. So any place that has significant fog all the time. I mean, we're
talking about California and they just had the wildfires. Part of that is because most of California, especially Southern California, it's a high desert, which is arid. High desert areas do not have as much moisture and rain or snow as other climates.
Yep.
It's a high desert area, which means they don't have the moisture.
Here's an article in December 18th, 2024. So just not that long ago. How California scientists are turning fog into water. This is actually something that's being investigated and actually being done now. So they're collecting it. And so I think there's a lot of ways that we can use what we have and turn, water from air type of scenarios all over the place.
So the question I've got is, fog tends to be seasonal.
Yes.
So through this experimentation, are they creating fog to harvest water?
Yeah, I would have to think that is too expensive.
Because it's not like I'm going to be driving around. Hey, I got to hit my windshield wipers here because it's really foggy, and I bring equipment over.
Unless they're using some type of solar,
you're not going to chase it down.
Yeah, unless you're using some type of solar magnification, where you could hit an area of water and superheat it so it steams and then turns into fog, right? And then that would be
why don't you just pump it out of the water?
What do you mean?
Well, it's like you got to have a water source to create fog,
right?
So it seems like they're adding an extra step
to make the fog.
Yeah. Why don't you just tap into the water source instead of having to evaporate that water source to create the fog to drop it back?
But you don't have fog all the time.
Right.
I was just saying
but
that.
You always have that water source if you have a water source to create the fog.
But the thing is that it's the desalination part that you were talking about earlier. It's expensive to desalinate water. Otherwise, they'd have water like crazy around California, right? So if you can evaporate it, it might take some salt. I didn't realize that it does do that.
Oh, yeah.
It takes some, but I would imagine the saltiness
You're decreasing
of water
salt content
is significant, right? You're going to decrease it a lot, so you don't have
to where you could work with that number.
Right. And that's where I think maybe if you could do some type of evaporation with solar. Don't you just love everybody how we're talking through a business idea right here on the air?
We do this all the time.
We do it all the time.
Take notes, free money.
Yeah. But that, because they have that solar collector south of Vegas. Have you seen this? And it actually is a series of mirrors. They're shutting it down, by the way. 2/3 of it's being shut down because it's not effective. Isn't that something?
Really?
$2.3 billion, and they're going to shut at least 2/3 of it down now.
And how much of that was subsidized by tax dollars?
I don't know, but it beams all it's mirrors that angle towards this higher tower,
like the movie Sahara.
Yeah. And that's exactly what this is. But although not everybody's watched Sahara, but this is exactly what
it's a really good soundtrack.
It's a great movie too. I'm going to watch it again. I had to watch that one often. And anyway. And then it basically evaporates water to make steam, I'm guessing. They do some type of heat transfer to make electricity, but they found that it's not as effective as just straight up solar. So
not efficient.
So, and solar isn't the most efficient either. That's usually like 18% of the energy from solar is actually converted to electricity. So
actually, I was just talking to a friend of mine that's working with a new technology in solar, and he owns a roofing company.
Okay.
And he worked with this company, the thought process is like, well, we've all seen solar panels put on a roof. Mm-hmm. And I think solar's got a place if you're doing it locally. So like on your house or on a pole barn or your...
On our building here would be a perfect example.
Yes. I don't see value in that large solar farm. But individually, great. He was working with a company that came up with a roofing system. So instead of putting the panels on top of a roof, the solar panels are actually part of the roofing system.
Yeah.
So you're eliminating a step and it's more efficient.
I've seen a couple companies make solar shingles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's one in Michigan, as a matter of fact, that's doing it. I think Tesla was looking at buying them at one time and maybe had or has. But it's a solar.
So they could shingle their car?
Yeah. But I could see, but Tesla also makes the Tesla battery.
Right.
The home battery.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Because they need a way to fill that battery with power, right? Other than off the grid. So having a solar shingle system.
But that's a much smaller battery. And we've had the discussion before where these large scale solar is not practical is we don't have the storage capacity for it. And probably won't.
You hang the battery in your garage. That's exactly how it works. And then it feeds your entire house through this battery. It's conditioned power. That's the thing that I love about a battery system in a home is the conditioned power it provides.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
So there's all kinds of solar shingles.
There's a lot of,
I was just looking this up. It's amazing how many different models there are.
Okay, but there's a difference between a solar shingle and it actually being part of a roofing system.
So when you say a roofing system, are you talking about like
the panels are installed in? So they're actually part of the structural roof of a.
So instead of like
house.
a metal roof.
Right.
It would actually be like this is taking the place of the metal roofing itself.
Yeah. The panels are built into the roof.
Yeah. I think that is a great approach to it. And quite frankly, most people pick darker shingles anyway.
Right.
So the aesthetic of it probably just fits right in.
Well, and as the roof panels, because he was showing me some of the stuff that they've been working on, and you can't tell it's not you step back a little bit and it's like, whoa, that's just a regular roof.
Yeah, I'm going to show you a picture here of solar shingles.
Yeah, for those of you at home,
yeah. But at least you have reference, right? So
it looks very similar to that.
Yeah. So these are basically, they're not like singular shingles. When I'm looking at this one from
panels.
Timberline, they're panels, but they're the width of a shingle, but they go for
aesthetically they look like shingles, which is kind of interesting because it's funny that they've taken this technology and kind of pigeonholed it into, well, but that's what people are used to seeing. Well, why not come up with something else? Because we're all used to or familiar with a roof shingle. Why does a roof have to look like that?
Yep. So Tesla does have they did actually buy this company. Like I said, it's been a couple of years since I checked into this. So the Tesla solar roof, they have the best warranty in the industry the way it looks. You'll get a product warranty that protects your roof from manufacturer defects, a weatherization warranty that covers damage from wind and rain. Doesn't say anything about snow and hail.
Actually, and I asked him about that because, being a roofer, we're in a hail zone.
Yep.
Where we live, and it's a couple 100-mile-an-hour impact. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Tesla solar roof has a lower wind rating of others at 110 miles per hour, and its shingle efficiency was not disclosed. We found Tesla solar roof's wattage to be by the square foot 15.3 to be average. So 15.3 watts per square foot is what it produces. So that's interesting. Certainty, it also has one at 110 miles an hour for a rating, but they're
it's North Dakota. We call that Thursday.
Yeah. The average efficiency rating is 19.85 or 16.1, which is a little higher. Luma Solar, I'm looking through all the Luma has shingles that come with an incredibly high 200 mile plus wind rating.
So a hurricane roof.
Yes.
Not to be confused with Lumi, though.
Luma, yes, not Lumi. Luma's solar efficiency rating is also high.
Your roof's guaranteed not to smell.
Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, if you're thinking about it,
there's options out there.
There are options. I have no idea what the cost of this would be. It would be really interesting to.
Yeah, but if you think of so there's a lot of companies out there that'll install these for the tax credits.
Yeah,
that's the other side.
That is true.
And and when I was talking about cost with my friend, he was like, "Well, so if we're putting a roof on for $5,000, we put a regular roof on. For $5,000, we can put this roof on.
That's a solar roof.
Yeah.
Well, then
why wouldn't you?
Right. But I don't think that's the case. I'm going to guessing.
According to him, it is. He goes, they've got the price point down to where there's not a big difference in cost.
That's remarkable.
Then why wouldn't you?
Well, you still have to buy the other stuff like a Tesla battery,
right?
Which would run probably $5,000 to $8,000.
Okay, well, that's only if you plan on doing it. You could be regularly hooked up to the grid and at night run your house on what your regular power is. But the ability to get rid of your electric bill, sign me up.
Yeah. I think
Tesla, take my money yesterday.
Did we talk about the balcony solar charger last week?
No.
Okay. So there is a unit that came out of CES. That's a balcony solar panel.
If your balcony is facing the right direction, right?
Yeah. I mean, it can go anywhere, I guess. I mean, they just talk about a balcony, but you can place this thing pretty much anywhere. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
So just hang on the balcony, or is the balcony like a glass balcony?
Yeah, no, it hangs on the balcony.
So it's portable.
Now. Yeah, it is portable. Zoltux, there we go. So the Zoltux Instant Solar Kit. It's a plug-and-play solar energy without hefty installation costs. And basically it takes 5 minutes. I'm going to show you the picture here. Now, they just have that sitting in the yard there.
Right.
But this also just hooks right up to the balcony or whatever you want.
Top of a motorhome.
There we go.
Camper.
There's one on the balcony right there. Okay. 5-minute installation, and you plug it in.
Just plug it into the wall.
You have to have an agreement with your power company. And I think we live in an area where you can go get those agreements, and then the power company has to buy the power
back
from you. So during the day, when you're not there, not using a lot of electricity in your house, if you're working or whatever, this can actually offset the cost of, or help offset the cost of your power that's used. It's you plug it into 120 volt. It seems to me it's $1,200. Yeah, $1,199, and it's an 800 watt instant solar pod. So 5 minutes to set up. $1,200. You plug it in the wall, but you got to have an agreement with the solar or with the power company. So that would be the first thing I would do, is to make sure you have this. But in the ROI on it, we did the math on this.
It's called a PPA, by the way.
Okay.
Power purchase agreement.
Okay. See, I knew you would know this. And at 8.1 cents a kilowatt hour, we kind of did the math on this. It's about a 2.5 to 3 year ROI
payoff
on this. It just depends, I guess, on how much sunlight you get on the thing or whatever.
Okay, but if you're off the grid, so you're camping out in the middle of nowhere,
right?
You got a camper,
you can just take this with.
Yeah,
you can just plug it in.
And we've all seen like motorhomes and things with the roof solar, and this is way more efficient.
What I would do is I'd get like a car battery. I'd get an inverter. I would just plug that thing into the inverter, so it's always charging the car battery, and then you have another inverter off of the battery that you then just plug your stuff into.
Oh, you're making that way too complicated.
Well, I'm making it easy. So another $200 basically, you could have a pretty decent system that you carry along, that you would have power anytime you want. It'd be kind of cool.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
Of course, TVs are crazy at CES every year, and you walk into Central Hall. I didn't get a chance to do that this year, but you walk through the main door of Central Hall at the convention center in Las Vegas, and you're greeted with like 3,000 televisions blaring at you. They'll have them set up in configurations like a dome or like an archway that you can walk through. And as you're walking through there, here comes this whale swimming through. I mean, it's just crazy, these things that they do with TVs. And every year, of course, there's new stuff. There's always something new with holographic television. But there's two things this year that I thought was really interesting, even though I didn't get over there. So television, this particular television, well, in fact, they advertise it that you can stick this TV almost anywhere. So
It's like a sticky note.
It's like a sticky note. That's exactly what this is.
85-inch post-it TV.
Not quite that big, but it's called the Displace TV. It's designed to be hyper portable. It's up to 27-inch. There's a 55-inch one as well, but it includes built-in batteries, so there's no cables.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, no cables with this at all. And
See, I switched over our cable provider switched over to little boxes that there's no cord,
right?
No cable,
right?
I love that.
Yep. It also has big suction cups on the back of it. So you just if you want to watch some television while you're baking 18 loaves of bread,
with you
just put it and stick it on your refrigerator, and then you can take it to the garage to watch a
refrigerators actually have TVs in them now anyway.
Most of them do, yeah. But if you didn't have one of those, I'm just saying that it's kind of funny that this is on batteries. You can just charge it up, and then you can just move it with you.
So how big is that?
Up to 55 inches.
Well, it's so sizable.
Yeah, you can have. There's a 27-inch version and a 55-inch version, and they're the newer televisions. I mean, these things weigh nothing. I mean,
right?
I looked at an 85-inch television that I put between my thumb and my index finger and picked it up.
Wow,
that's how light they are. It's crazy how light these new televisions have become. It's unbelievable. But it goes back to the jellyfish technology, where the screens that can be just rolled out and whatever. They're just basically the rollout screens with a little something to support them is all they are. I mean, it really is incredible. The other one,
well, if you think about it, it's like you could fold it up into a suitcase and take it with you wherever you want.
That is truly what's next. Our cell phones, like
the flip phones,
sometime in the future, you'll be able to fold your phone up and just, but not like
we do that now.
Well, kind of, but not like what I'm describing. This is like a piece of paper.
Oh, wow.
That you could almost crumple if you wanted to. They already have the battery technology. That's paper thin. So the next thing now is just layering the other technology on top of it. So they're getting very, very close to this. But the other television that really made a lot of news this year was the LG see-through television.
See-through television.
Totally transparent.
Okay, but what you're going to see the stuff on the backside.
There is no stuff on the backside.
All right, explain this to me.
It's like a window.
So it's like a window.
It's like a window. That's the only, except that but it's a television.
So if I want to watch a program, it'll black out everything behind it so you can watch the actual program. Or
you just have to have it against something dark, I suppose, to improve the contrast or whatever. But I really see this in and you might see it in homes and whatever too, but the biggest thing I think to me is going to be like retail stores, like their window displays and things like that will probably change a lot because now the window can be a TV screen. Imagine the possibilities there.
Oh, from a marketing and advertising perspective. Yes. Yeah.
Huge deal, I think.
Well, some of that technology has been out with just big plate glass with the ability to, the photosensitive.
Yes.
So this is kind of that next generation.
Next generation where you can actually watch television or put your messaging in it or whatever. Yeah.
That's fascinating technology.
$60,000 for a 55-inch TV, right?
Was that all?
There. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
It'll be $299 at Walmart in 3 years.
3. Probably.
Supertalk 1270.
Welcome to January 11th on the National Day calendar. Today, we're toasting a nutritious staple and diving into the joys of personal interests.
It's National Hobby Month, a time to explore and embrace activities that bring us joy and fulfillment. Hobbies are more than just pastime. They offer opportunities for learning, creativity, and relaxation. Whether you're picking up a new skill or diving deeper into a long-time passion, dedicating time to hobbies can enhance your overall well-being and provide a welcome escape from the daily routine. This month, consider trying something new or dedicating a little extra time to the interests that make your heart sing.
These are my hobbies. I like biking, hiking, smelling my books. I like drawing, painting, cooking for one. I like sewing, knitting, smelling my books. I like napping, waking up, and talking like Gandalf.
And the interest that makes your heart sing this month is your birthday.
It is. And my favorite hobby is traveling.
And you're going to combine the two at the same time.
Yes, and I'm leaving right after this.
That sounds amazing. Where are you off to?
Colombia.
Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be great.
You have to check out the milk there, will you?
What?
Yeah. Because milk has been a cornerstone of nutrition for centuries, providing essential vitamins and minerals that support healthy bones and growth. On National Milk Day, we celebrate this versatile beverage that complements our meals and enriches our diets. Whether enjoyed in a glass, poured over cereal, or used in cooking and baking, milk plays a vital role in our daily lives. Today, let's raise a glass to this nourishing drink and appreciate its contributions to our health and cuisine.
You're a milk drinker, aren't you?
Mostly almond or whatever, but you should be so excited. I got you the most ultimate gift to celebrate today.
I'm scared to ask what that is.
Oh, it's lovely. It's the Milk of the Month Club.
What?
Yeah. Every month, you'll receive a different type of milk. It truly is the gift that keeps on giving, LaToya.
I don't even know what to say.
Just thank you is fine.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if that's fitting, but you're...
In all seriousness, LaToya, happy birthday.
Thank you. And as we continue, thank you for joining us on our journey to celebrate every day.
Until next time, keep celebrating.
Supertalk 1270.
From America's #1 travel radio show, I'm Robert Carey with your Monday edition of this RM World Travel Minute. There are many different forms of transportation for us to use when we travel. Driving and flying are certainly the most common. For those of you who like to pick your airlines based on safety, the folks at Airlines Ratings, they just released their list of the top carriers worldwide that I thought I'd share with you today. 9 of the top 10 full-service airlines to make the list are international carriers. The sole domestic exception is Alaska Airlines, and we all remember that they had a door blow-off mid-flight last year, so I'm not exactly sure what that says. Top airlines are Air New Zealand, Qantas, Cathay Pacific, Qatar Airways, Emirates, Virgin Australia, and Etihad Airways. As far as the top low-cost airlines for 2025 for safety, well, Hong Kong Express, Jetstar, Ryanair, and EasyJet are the picks. Southwest Airlines ranked 9th, Sun Country 15th, and Allegiant Air 21st. What does this all mean? Well, statistically, air travel is the safest way to travel, regardless of who you fly. But what I just shared, well, it could tip things in your favor a bit more. More travel info awaits you anytime at rmworldtravel.com. Safe travels, everyone.
KLXX Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station. Supertalk 1270.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The death toll at least 7 after the crash of a medical flight shortly after takeoff in northeast Philadelphia. All 6 on the plane and 1 person who was driving a car at the crash site. Among those who were on the plane, a child from Mexico who was receiving treatment at a Philadelphia hospital and her mother. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
May we lift up those who are mourning and those who are in a moment of strife. This is a time for us all to join together in prayer and in common purpose. And that's exactly what is happening here in the city of Philadelphia.
Investigators recovered the black box from the Army helicopter that collided midair with a commercial jetliner over the Potomac River near D.C., killing 67 people. Joyful singing today in Israel. American Keith Siegel reuniting with his family, one of 3 hostages released from captivity by Hamas, part of a peace deal with Israel that also sees the release of Palestinian prisoners. This is ABC News. On government spending, Republicans in the House of Representatives set to release their spending plan. ABC News contributing political correspondent Rachel Bade.
The House Republicans are going to be releasing a budget, and I am told from my sources in the House that they've been talking about everything from work requirements for food stamps, cuts to Obamacare subsidies, cuts to Medicaid as well. Now, a lot of centrist Republicans, they're pushing back on this privately, saying it would be basically political suicide, that they could lose their House majority if they go after low and middle income earners, some people who voted for Donald Trump, and they're looking for an ally in Trump himself. There's a hope that because of all the chaos and confusion that the White House dealt with this week over potential cuts, that maybe he will side with them.
The Trump administration has dismissed Rohit Chopra, the head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Chopra, appointed by President Biden, led efforts to regulate big banks and cap overdraft fees, is firing part of Trump's broader effort to remove Biden-era officials. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. Mostly cloudy today, highs in the low 40s. Slight chance of snow tonight, a low of 15. Mostly sunny, breezy for Sunday with a high around 24. Chance of snow Sunday night, 2 below 0. High of 5 above on Monday and below 0 again Monday night. Interest-free bathroom remodels from BCI Bath and Shower. Call 800-329-4115. Currently 33 degrees.
Bucks with Giannis hitting the floor from a hard Chris Paul foul, causing Milwaukee's star to show rare on-court anger.
Enough is enough. Like, if I feel like you're putting my livelihood and my career and my body in jeopardy, in danger, enough is enough, brother. You know, I have family to feed, and what makes you laugh can also make you cry sometimes, huh?
Meanwhile, it's ex-Cardinals offensive line coach Clayton Adams named the Cowboys' new offensive coordinator. At HL Matinee, they're in the second period. Panthers lead the Blackhawks 2-1. Sam Reinhart scoring his 30th. 3:30 Eastern, Rangers visit Boston. Newly acquired J.T. Miller expected to start his second stint in a New York uniform after yesterday's trade with the Canucks. Pebble Beach, the leader right now. Sepp Straka, 15 under through 1. Several others, 1 back. Joey Waller, ABC Sports.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Struggling with back taxes or unfiled returns? Owe the IRS $10,000 or more? With the IRS ramping up enforcement, taxpayers across the country are turning to tax relief helpers. Call 800-885-0622 now. End IRS stress today. Stop collection efforts, wage garnishments, and sleepless nights. Tax relief helpers can help you or your business settle your tax debt quickly and affordably. Call the Tax Relief Helpers hotline at 800-885-0622. That's 800-885-0622. Start your relief today.
Your destination for travel news and ideas. RM World Travel. Sunday morning, starting at 5 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
So somehow or another we got onto solar power.
Yeah.
and
I wanted to talk a little bit about
rabbit
conditioned power.
Well, before we get to that, so we were just talking about Zoltux at CES, and Zoltux has this 800-watt.
Isn't that the machine from Big?
Zoltar.
Okay.
I knew you were going to go there. Notice how I was ready for you.
You were.
That's funny that you caught that, though. So the Zoltux Instant Solar Kit, you basically, if you're just catching up to us here, it's an 800-watt panel that you can hook up to your balcony or put it in your yard or whatever, and it's 5 minutes, and then you plug it into your wall, but you have to have a PPI? What was that? PPE?
Power Purchase Agreement.
PPA. A power purchase agreement with your local power suppliers. So,
and most states actually, and there's a federal component to it as well with the grid, but most states have a requirement that if somebody's producing extra power, so if somebody, say you're on a farm and you have a smaller wind turbine, or you do have solar, they have to take that.
Okay.
It goes onto the grid. Most places have that. Now there's just the connectivity to make sure it's that conditioned or the right type of power. That's where the power purchase agreement comes into play locally to make sure that they're getting the right electrons onto the grid.
So if you have, would you just go to your supplier's website to find this? Is this a phone call that you have to make to get the
You just call your local power company.
Just like that.
Hey, I'm putting in this solar, whether it's solar shingles or this Zoltux, or hey, I'm adding some localized power and I'm going to be producing more than I need. What you got for me?
And
Done.
I'm just thinking
there's tax incentives for it. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that your $1,200 investment into this might only cost you $700 or $800 because of the incentives and things that are available too. So I'm just thinking if the return is 2.5 years or 3 years on this, there's not a lot of reasons why you wouldn't do this, with the exception that maybe you just don't have a place to do it. That would be it. Like, you can't hang this, you don't have a balcony to hang it off of or something. So, but I think most homeowners could find a space. And to me, it sounds like a good investment. I actually am really considering doing this. So, and I might buy two.
Do you have a balcony on?
I do. Yeah.
Well, what?
I have
Okay.
a patio on a balcony.
So what
I have a
about
sauna I could hang it off of? Oh,
power your sauna?
Oh,
aha.
See, the sauna only gets turned on for a couple hours every other day. If I had a battery pack on that thing and the sun could, I love this idea.
Okay.
And what's crazy about this?
So knowing you'll hook it up to a Tesla battery, and then when you turn the sauna on, it'll get really hot in there.
This is the thing.
Marlo's not with us today. He melted.
Yeah, melted. Melted last night. Oh, look at me. I'm the Wicked Witch of the East. Whatever, yeah. No, that's, it's interesting because by the time I'm totally done wiring the sauna, I'm going to have about $4,000 into that. I have 1,700 into it right now. They just set it up so that it would run over the winter.
It from scratch?
Well, they have to dig it. They have to dig a channel through the yard to install it. I mean, it's safe right now how they have it because they put it in a whatchamacallit, conduit. Thank you, for outdoor use, but it's unsightly. So they want to bury it, and that's going to.
Well, yeah, because your autonomous mower wouldn't be able to get over.
That's a very valid point, right?
A Yarbo could though.
Yes, we're going to be talking about that again too.
Oh, yes.
So I already have $4,000, and I'm going to have $4,000 into this. My goodness, I could buy this for $1,200. I could buy a Tesla battery for $5,000. Now I got $6,200 into this thing.
Tesla batteries are only $500.
$5,000.
Okay.
5,000 or 8,000, depending on which one you get.
Which model?
Yeah, there's the 50 kilowatt hour or the 80 kilowatt hour. So it's basically $100 a kilowatt. And then you have conditioned power, which is where we're going for this. But I can almost guarantee you that 800 watt panel would be enough power to run my sauna, because I would be storing the power and then just turn it on. And the other thing then is I could power other things with it too. Especially outdoor things like my Yarbo. That's
your
correct.
Autonomous mower could hook right up to it.
It could. Absolutely it could. Yeah. And in fact, my sauna has external power on it.
Ooh.
So I can, that's the plan actually. It sits right next to my autonomous mower. So now I'm just going to.
Then you get the big screen TV and the little refrigerator for adult beverages. Sauna ink?
I will never leave the sauna.
You'll never leave the sauna.
I'll have to turn it down to 89 degrees so I can stay in there for a while. Honey, I'll see you next
205, 210, cook. All right.
All right. So yeah, I love that I generate ideas on here. I think it's kind of a cool thing. And I think if I were going to recommend people, if they have a place to put it, I would recommend the investment. And you're right. There might even be tax credits to this.
So when we're generating power, you mentioned the conditioned power. And for those that don't understand, what's the difference between conditioned and non-conditioned power?
So when you're on the grid, if you ever look at your television, and it states that it can take, 90 to 150, for example, right?
Right.
And you're like, why doesn't it just say 100,
fluctuates
110 to 120? That's correct, because through the line coming into your house, it fluctuates that much. Maybe not that much. Maybe it fluctuates from 95 to 125 or something like that, right? But you plug your all your stuff into your. Are we at 100? It's 110 volts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you plug it in, and then but your television set, your refrigerator can run in that space, right? The problem is, it would be just, does it run differently at 90 and differently at 130?
Yes.
The thing is that these things, the electronics inside these things have challenges because they're dealing with this power that's just always different.
And
always.
Some of them are very sensitive to it, especially computers.
Yes. So this is why a lot of people always recommend getting like a surge protector, because it helps with that quite a bit. Those surges that can come through, and most people think of lightning, but that's not even the big culprit here. The fluctuations are significant. If you have a battery, like a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply, and we have those all over in here. What we're plugged into right now is on a UPS. The fluctuations come into the battery and charge that, right? But always what's coming out of it is 110.
Because it runs off the battery.
Yes. So as a result, your stuff lasts significantly longer because you have conditioned power.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
So somehow or another, we got into solar power, and now we're into conditioned power, and ran out of time before I wanted to say all I wanted to say last.
Oh, you had
segment.
more?
I had more. I know it's
actually it's funny because I was just talking to a friend of mine this past week. House in Florida, went down there because their pool was acting up, And their pool guy said, well, you got to replace the pump. It's not that old. And they got a saltwater pool. So he gets down there and the garbage disposal is not working and the refrigerator's on the fritz and all these electronic devices he's going through and replacing. It's like all the circuit boards are fried. So they had a lightning strike.
Yeah, or something.
Or something.
Or somewhere down the line had a lightning strike that sent a surge through the line, right? So this goes right to the core of what I'm talking about here. So there's two ways that you can have conditioned power in your house. You can buy the units. They're a little bigger than a regular surge protector. Surge protectors give you some protection. It would protect in that instance, right? But it still doesn't fix the lows and highs and that power that's coming into your devices, right? How's the peanut brittle? Crunchy.
It's cashew brittle.
Oh, it's cashew brittle.
Way better than peanut brittle.
Oh, I may have to go try that. Yeah.
It came highly recommended.
Chris is out there pawning it off on everybody.
It was good.
Okay.
Very buttery.
Yeah. Yep. That's the way it should be.
The
So you can get these units. They're a little bigger than a regular surge protector, but there's a battery in them, and they cost a little bit more. I mean, you'll probably spend on the low end probably $60, but then you can plug 6 devices into it, just like you can a surge protector.
Well, so you also can have a system. It's more of a dampening system without the battery. So, and it's not running full conditioned power, but it basically acts as a surge protector because
for your whole house,
for the whole house, because we just did the addition on the house where I did the dog kennels, and had to put in another box. So we had to split our line coming in. So I got 2 panels. So the 2 meters and 2 panels, and they had to split the system. They're like, we strongly recommend, because it used to be you just ran that copper wire down into the ground in case of lightning or a big surge of power, and that was kind of we'll just dampen it down. Nope. They put this giant box under the stairs out in the back that runs all the power through that, and then it runs into the house and to both panels, and that's in case of a major surge. So if a lightning strike, that's the system that shuts down. It doesn't even get into the house.
So,
and they're like,
do you know what those run?
Especially they're spendy.
Okay.
But $1,500 versus, the install was more than that, but for $1,500, I don't have to replace a refrigerator or a stove or a dishwasher or a garbage disposal like my friend with his house in Florida just had to do.
Right. So I'm curious.
I don't have the pool. Wish I had the pool. I don't have the pool.
Well, that's the all-knowing here. Hey, ChatGPT, how long can the average household run on 50 kilowatt hours of power?
The duration an average household can run on 50 kilowatt hours of power depends on its energy consumption. The average US household uses about 30 kilowatt hours per day. So 50 kilowatt hours would typically last around 1.5 days. This can vary based on.
All right. So the reason I'm bringing that up is that when you buy, now there's other battery companies out there. I'm not.
Okay, that might last your house though, like maybe 3/4 of a day.
Well, it just depends. There's just 2 of us, and I know I have a lot of
but you got a lot of electronic stuff and vacuum cleaners on each floor, and
but they're not. But I don't have a bunch of kids playing video games all over the place and things too. So, so there you go. The average household uses 30 kilowatt hours per day. So if you had a Tesla battery, that's 50 kilowatt hours per day, and you still ran what you normally run. You would have a day and a half before you ran out of juice. The reason I'm getting to that is that if you spent the $5,000 and put a Tesla battery or any of the others that are out there in your garage, you would have both conditioned power and power backup when there's a blizzard or anything else, brownouts or whatever else that's going on in your area. And you can still be on the grid. It'll just always be charged up, ready to go for when you have power outage issues. And of course, if you're if you're in a power outage issue, you're probably not going to be turning everything on that you would normally. I mean, I go around the house and turn everything off when we have those type of things going on.
Well, a lot of people have a backup generator, especially people who live in the country. And the misconception by most people is like, oh, well, I've got this backup generator that's going to run. They don't run the whole house. The one that would run the whole house is expensive.
Yes.
So what a lot of people do is they'll put this backup generator there, so at least you can run the refrigerator and the freezer and the stove and the furnace and the things that you need.
And in order, the furnace would be the number one thing, my guess would be. Right.
So you want to be, or like if you're rural and you've got an electric water pump for wells, the things that you need to sustain.
Yes.
You're not putting the big screen and the video games and you're not putting the whole house on that system.
That's correct.
Most systems are not for the entire house. A backup generator is for what's critical mass in the house.
Where this would be, you could just use it however you want. The downside to it, of course, is that you can't generate more electricity unless you had solar or whatever pushing into that too, or a generator.
Solar shingles or the roof system.
So I would have to say that if I were to move to an all house or all business type of situation, I would just put the battery in. And I wonder, there's probably companies that only have like a 10 kilowatt hour and a 20 kilowatt hour. So then it's not as big and it wouldn't cost as much, but you'd still have the conditioned power and you'd have backup for, a half a day or something.
So how long does batteries wear out? How long does, say, a Tesla battery, because that's one we talk about a lot. How long does that last with average usage?
I don't know.
Is it 10 years? Is it 20 years?
Is it? I don't know.
3 years? Because the replacement cost, I would think that would be a concern to me.
Yes. Yeah.
So that would be a great question to.
I guess so. Obviously, it's not going to cost the full unit price,
right?
Because you should be able to open the panel and fill it full of AA batteries again, right?
Right.
Do you ever see that commercial?
Wait till they're on sale. And
SNL had that commercial, the Mercedes AA or whatever it was.
Yes.
And and of course it had and we have a tracking system, and all of a sudden it show up battery 480 or 4832, 4835, whatever. You had to replace those things. It was just like hilarious. The whole car runs on these AA batteries, 5,000 of them.
What if they were AAA?
Oh.
You're listening to The Tech Ranch, where technology comes alive. Let's dive back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve. And don't forget to check out thetechranch.com for more.
Our devices are always listening, aren't they?
They are.
We're talking about solar panel balconies and but my Google opinion rewards thing. Have you recently searched for Google's or for solar panel, whatever? Which one of these would be more helpful to you? And I didn't know, but I didn't know this. There's actually a solar savings estimator online.
Is it an app?
You could actually.
Oh, there's everything. There's an app for that.
Yeah. Average savings. Oh, okay. Solar savings estimators. Estimates from Project Sunroof. I'm just going to go there real quick. So.
Project Sunroof.
Yeah. Anyway, if you're looking about what you would save in power or in cost every year, right? What did I say? Solar sunroof?
Yeah, solar. Yeah. What he said.
Yeah, I should have trying to Project Sunroof. There we go. Project Sunroof. So then, so Project Sunroof, you enter a U.S. or Puerto Rico address. So I'm going to put my address in here. This is really interesting, actually. Oh, guess I can't type very well either. We're going to learn this on the air with everybody. Well,
because that's the knock on solar. It's like, especially in the northern climates. Okay, if you're in a desert or, say Phoenix or Las Vegas and the sun shines most of the year, then it makes a lot of sense to throw solar in there. A lot of people say, solar, I live in the north and, the cost to melt the snow off the solar panel so it can work is not cost effective. There's a lot of detriments to having solar when you are in cloudy areas or snowy areas, and they don't work as efficiently. It's about the efficiency that they can't produce at. So when you're looking at this app, it's like, hey, where do I live? Does it make sense for me?
Yep.
It's kind of a cool thing.
Yep. All right. So, this is really interesting. You put your address in, and again, this is Project Sunroof. So if you've ever thought about doing solar power on your house, you punch in your address. So the first thing that comes up, at my house, I have 1,532 hours of usable sunlight per year on average.
Nice.
Yeah, it has that on there. And then it estimates how many square feet available for solar panels. So it's estimating that I have about 2,000 square feet available for solar panels based on 3D modeling of your roof and nearby trees. It's actually showing the roof and trees. This is crazy. Okay. So I would have
Does it incorporate like a Google Earth or?
That's exactly what it is. Okay. I'm just going to show you here.
Hey, Marlo, you need to trim your trees so we can get solar at your house.
Yeah, it actually brings up basically exactly what you said. And but it's showing a sun grid kind of instead. So over 20 years, I would have a $9,000 savings.
Over 20 years.
20 years. That's not a lot.
No.
Because I'm going to guess that it's going to cost me a heck of a lot more to put solar on.
Well, and that's where the tax credits come in.
So that's probably true.
Or, like we were talking earlier, my friend that has the roofing company, if the cost of putting it in is relatively comparable to a traditional roofing system, then why wouldn't you?
Right.
Because now I got to replace my roof anyway. We had a hailstorm or new construction, go that route, and now you're mitigating some of the cost.
Well, and the other thing that most people probably don't understand, and I think one of the reasons why we don't have a lot of solar here is that we're the second lowest cost per kilowatt hour in the country. We're at like 8.1 cent kilowatt.
There's not a lot of cost benefit for the expense of the investment.
If you live in California and electricity is 4 times the expense, now you're at $36,000 over a 20-year period. I'm just using if everything else was exactly the same. My guess is that California probably has more sunlight than we do too in the desert, right? So, but if everything else was the same, so it's showing me here that the cost right now to install that much solar panels on my house would run $15,000, or it would run $24,000. $15,000 after incentive. So I would get a $9,000 incentive, just like what you're talking about. So I would put $15,000 into it and get a $9,000 return over 20 years. That's not a great investment.
No. Okay, so you spent a lot of time in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Punch Las Vegas into there. And see what happens.
Okay.
Because I'm guessing that, Las Vegas gets a lot more sunlight than we do.
Yes.
And the cost of electricity is a little bit more in Las Vegas.
Well, exactly.
Well, and they use a lot more too.
They do.
Those lights, they just never turn them off. I remember growing up, if I walked out of a room and left a light on, my grandfather would hand my butt to me.
I'm going to have to make up an address here. Just, let's see. So, give me something.
You got to know an address.
I'm thinking off the top of my head here.
In Las Vegas?
Flamingo Road.
Some house in random Las Vegas.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go 1202 East Flamingo Road.
Here, we're going to do this the easy way. Well, you actually have an address now. So I was just pulling up my map and dropping a pin. And
yes. There's actually a house there. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So 2,145 hours of usable light. So that's about 600 more than we have here per year. 1,300, and this house has 1,395 square feet. So they're about 600 square feet less than I do on my house. $5,000 in savings estimated net on your roof over 20 years. So I'll roll down a little bit further here. After incentives, it would cost $10,000 to put solar on the house. and I would get $5,000 back over 20 years. So in order for that to work, because it's a much smaller house, you would have to maybe put some external panels on or whatever. So, and I don't know what, there might be other things going on at this house that I don't know, but it doesn't, I guess it really doesn't really pay for itself, does it?
No. And that's been the argument about solar.
Even after the incentives.
Yeah. So a great question is the technology where it needs to be that solar's viable? Because, we drive down to Minneapolis all the time and you drive by these solar farms and Mike, in the winter, they're covered in snow. They're not producing enough to even keep the snow off. So where's the cost savings? Where's the money?
So they have stuff about environmental impact as well on here. We'll get to that after the break.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. We're thrilled to have you with us as we continue exploring living with technology alongside Marlo and Steve.
So we went down the rabbit hole of solar power.
Here, bunny.
Yeah. Been good conversation so far. So over the last segment here, we were on Project Sunroof, and you can go do this, projectsunroof.com. Maybe it's a .gov, but just Google Project Sunroof, take you there. And you can type in the address of your house, and then it'll show you like how much it'll cost to put, solar on your house if you were to put it on your roof, for example, and how much it will, the cost, the tax savings that you get and whatever. There's one thing I forgot to do, Steve. There's a thing on here. This it actually states, so I typed in an address in Vegas, and it shows you like 2,145 hours of usable sunlight, where at my house it was about 1,600, and this is in an annual area, or annual number of hours that you get for sunlight. So Vegas is about 600 more hours a year than we have here in North Dakota. Then this house also has 1,395 square feet available for solar panels. And what I didn't see, Steve, is that you have to put in how much power or how much is your electrical bill each month, right? I don't know that with that house. I think ours here is about $150. So that savings that I put in was based on that number of what we're paying, right? So I upped to this because I was looking through this and it doesn't make sense because it says installation size. This size, and this is on the house in Vegas, will cover 95% of your electricity usage.
Wow.
So there, right? So now if your bill is $200 a month in Vegas, for example, I don't know, but if it is, then, and that even went up when I put more dollars into there. So then now you're at if it's $200 a month, and I would have to imagine in Vegas, it probably is because the cost of cooling has to be pretty high, right? So then it's $19,000 worth of savings over 20 years. And your cost to put that in is still, you're at 20. So you break even at $200 a month. You're basically breaking even on your solar bill or solar cost to install to electricity. So then you can state that maybe I would, if you're an environmentally friendly person, I'd say most people are. It's just a matter of if you believe some of the stuff that we hear and read or not. The offset of carbon dioxide then is 13.1 metric tons a year.
Okay, just for an experiment here, I did some math. I counted because I switched my view. All right, you came up with a random address, and I just dropped a pin and then looked at it. For an address, and I landed in a residential neighborhood. Okay. So I switched it over to the Google Earth view.
Okay.
And there's 32 houses on this city block on Gilmary Avenue in Las Vegas.
Okay.
How many houses do you think have solar out of those 32?
I'd say there's quite a few. Solar is very popular in Vegas.
10.
Okay, so about 1/3.
1 in 3, about a third.
And you can actually visibly see that on the house.
I counted all it's Vegas, they're all rooftop.
And the other thing that I'm putting in here at $200 a month for their monthly electric bill. Some of these houses that you're talking about, I bet you that their electric bill is probably significantly higher.
There's more pools than solar. Just letting you know. Most of them have pools. I'm jealous.
But even running the pool's expensive. So...
Well, and that was the correlation, because I was thinking a lot of people will put solar on to run their pool if they have a heated pool.
Yes.
So it's like, hey, I'll just put a couple solar panels up and it'll run the heater on the pool.
Right.
And that's all they really worry about.
Right.
Because it gets cold in the desert. And if you're heated pool, that's a big sink for energy.
It's a big deal. It's a big add-on for the house, too.
Not all the houses have solar. I would think that with the number of houses that have pool in the neighborhood I'm looking at, with the number of houses that have pools, I would think that they would all at least have solar. No.
In order for us to actually analyze this, we would almost have to get somebody from Las Vegas to voluntarily give us their electric bill, and then we could do actually analyze that on Project Sunroof to kind of come up with if there's.
I have a better idea.
Cost saves.
Why don't we just have them give us their house for the winter? As long as they have a pool, that might be a better idea.
Are you a pool guy?
I like pools.
Yeah. Do you splash around in the water a little bit, or you just like to sit around?
If I had a pool, I would.
You would. Okay, that's good to know. We have some mighty fine H2O here, though.
We do.
You're close to that.
I don't think I'm going to fit in this cup.
This water from air scenario that we're enjoying here today.
My pH water for the day. It's good.
It's good.
Car water every day.
Our recommended product of the day, I guess. Project Sunroof. I'm gonna dig into this a little bit more. Obviously, we're both fascinated with this because we're both digging into it on our phones here a little bit.
We might have to have somebody from Project Sunroof on.
That's a great idea.
Yes,
I'll dig into that. Do you think we could get somebody from like MDU as well, or another power company that would come on and we could talk about this a little bit?
I don't know if the MDU's app. That's one of our local power companies here in where we live. I don't know if it's applicable because we don't have enough solar. I don't know if they would have that.
What I would like to understand is the PPA.
Oh, yeah.
How does that work from a power company part? And then, do they buy
Is it a pain in the butt that they got to deal with all these little, or is it, no, it's part of their program.
Yeah. And then they embrace it because it's maybe less power generation that they have to pay for,
right?
On the big scale type of things. So they might like that, actually. I don't know.
Yeah, we should
think it'd be good to do that.
Yes.
So, all right. We will work on that. Let's see. I think we spent enough time on that today. What do you think?
Well,
not enough on the water, though.
No, the water was cool. Or Yarbo. We didn't.
Yarbo. We're going to get to Yarbo right now.
Recharge your Yarbo with the solar.
Yeah, why not? Right?
In your case, just hook it up to your sauna.
I'm all excited about this. I've been thinking about this a little bit already.
Gonna go the solar route with the sauna?
I think I'm gonna get the Zoltex. Zoltex, thank you. Unit for $1,200, and it looks like I would get.
Careful though, because if you put the Zoltex on there, it might be kind of a hybrid between big and hot tub time machine.
I wonder if I can use this
because you'll walk into the sauna and it's like you might come back in a different year.
I wonder if I can use the Zoltex to run the Zoltar.
Ooh,
and then you can just move it wherever you want to.
Could you find a Zoltar machine?
I don't know. I've seen them.
I've seen them too.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of cool to have.
Yeah. What would you wish for?
More wishes.
That's one of the wishes you can't wish for.
No, never ending supply of wishes.
How about just water from air? That would be such a fantastic thing.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
Supertalk 1270. And now, time for this week's edition of Ranching Issues. Here's Neil Roberts.
Welcome to another edition of Ranching Issues. Our guest this week is NDSU Livestock Management Specialist Lacey Quayle from the North Central Research Extension Center. And Lacey, lots of bull sales coming up over the next coming weeks. And sire selection, I know, is vital for your herd. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, it's a very important part of building your herd going forward and thinking about really what you want to work towards when it comes to your herd. And so I like to tell people that first, being pretty critical of your herd and honest with yourself on maybe what goals you have for your herd and how you'd like to improve going forward. Because sire selection can be really overwhelming with all the options available. And if you know specifically what goals you have, then you can have a little bit more of a detailed shopping list when it goes to a different sale and to buy a bull.
All right, good stuff. Hey, we'll have more on sire selection when we come back.
It's sale time at Bruner Angus Ranch. It's our 23rd annual on February 16th at 2 o'clock.
This year we are selling 110 yearling and 2-year-old bulls, 50 registered bred heifers, and 120 commercial yearling and bred heifers. In this offering is the first calf crop of Deep Creek Square Deal and Keneally Craftsman.
You know we always sell with the Bruner Guarantee. Go to BrunerAngusRanch.com to view the catalog and videos, or call us at 626-2070 or 721-4754. See you at the sale!
It's easy to put off saving for retirement, but it can be even easier than you think to start. And once you do, you can feel more confident about your future. As a financial professional of Thrivent, let me help you define your financial goals and take realistic steps to help you reach them. It comes down to making choices about your money that match your values, because even small steps can get you where you want to go. Contact me, Financial Associate Andy Laris, at 701-509-5794.
Talking sire selection today with Lacey Quayle. And Lacey, phenotype or physical attributes, right, of the different sires are also vital. Give us your input there.
Yeah, so along with all of the different numbers that you'll see in a catalog, it's really important to look at the physical attributes of a bull, really kind of being particular on conformation and feet structure and leg structure, hip structure. And if you're retaining replacement heifers out of a bull, if that's part of your strategy for your operation, it's also really important to look at the udder conformation and the teat structure of the dam from that bull, knowing that can very well influence the female progeny.
All right, good stuff. And hey, that will bring this report to a close. If you missed one, catch us on the website at ranchingissues.com. Until next time, I'm Neil Roberts.
You've been listening to Ranching Issues, brought to you in part by the Bruner Angus Production Sale, by Andy and Teal Laris, your Thrivent advisors in Minot, and by Bremer Bank. Contact Bremer for all of your egg banking needs.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
I don't know about you, but the one thing that I hate about having robotic vacuums is that you have to clean up before you set the vacuum out, right? I mean, if you got socks on the floor or...
For me, it's dog toys.
All right, dog
pick up
toys.
all the dog toys.
Right, exactly, right.
Unless you get like maybe a Yarbo vacuum that just pushes stuff out of the way.
I guess there's that. And some...
Because like your little Roomba or your Shark or whatever, I
right.
mean, they bump into something or they get close to something and they're like, oh, no, there's something there. Turn around.
That's exactly right, yeah. Well, now there's a new robot vacuum out there that has an arm that comes off the top of it with a clamp or a claw or a hand or whatever you want to say.
Is it Canadian?
And don't believe
Well, they're the ones that came up with the big arm for the space shuttle.
I guess that's true, yes. And anyway, it'll like pick up the sock that's laying there and move it out of the way so it can vacuum.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, move the dog toy, whatever it is, right? So it's
okay. If you're really lazy, you're sitting on the couch and watching football, and you drop the remote, and you just like, hey, robot thingy vacuum cleaner, come over with your robotic arm and pick up my remote control for me, so I don't have to get off the couch.
I suppose you.
I like that idea.
You could have it go get you a beer or whatever too. It's got an arm, for goodness sakes.
Kind of like Alex from Stroh's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact,
I don't need a golden retriever anymore.
Just call the robot Alex, and it could be
Go get me a frosty adult beverage.
So they could market it as it not only cleans your floors, it will get you a beer.
I like that idea.
How many extra robot vacuum cleaners do you think they'd sell with that feature on it?
A ton. Oh, they could. So is this like an actual thing, or is it in the funding?
No, I believe, let's see here. I believe they are actually for sale now.
Because if they need like R&D money, it's like, go pitch that to a beer company.
There you go. Coors, come on, get involved here a little bit.
They could fund the whole thing.
Yep. So the Robo-Rock Saros Z70 is the model, which extends a normally hidden mechanical arm to pick up the debris and move it to a designated area out of the way.
So they could rename it, instead of Robo-Rock, Rolling Rock, grab a beer.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. You could pay for
They should really start.
Yes.
Instead of having, there was another vacuum, by the way, that was there that has.
I like the arm, though. I really
the
like
arm
the
is good. See, this is the thing. These companies sometimes should get together and compare tech before they go to CES, because another one had legs on it.
Oh, so it just stands up and walks over what?
That's correct.
I like the arm, though.
Yes.
Well, although that would allow. So what do you run into? How many little robot vacuums do you have at your house?
Well, 4. And the first thing they say is that this one does not climb steps yet.
Okay, but
it said yet. Yet. So
if it's got little legs, it's going to be able to climb stairs.
They're working on this, I'm sure, so that because right now we have 4 in our house. We have
vacuum
4 levels.
the basement, vacuum the main floor, vacuum upstairs.
Yeah. So you have legs on one, and then you have a robotic arm on another. You two companies should talk and create one device that has an arm and legs.
Because for the robot safety, it's good to hold onto the handrail as you're going down the stairs.
That's correct.
Yes,
that's correct.
So they should combine the two.
Yeah, and if the arm isn't quite long enough to open the refrigerator to get the beer,
a little longer.
The legs could stand up then to give you that extra couple inches to get to the.
Well, you don't have to pull the refrigerator. You just push a button now and the door opens by itself.
There's that, or you talk to it, right?
Yeah. Hey, open up.
Hello, door. Open, please.
Hand a beer. I like.
Yeah, dispense beer.
Well, actually, you don't even have to open the door. It's like dispense whatever.
Yeah.
Because smart refrigerators do that now.
Life is getting really
grab
good.
Me a Diet Coke. Grab me a Coors.
You would never have to leave the lounger during a football game now. You could just have it get you beer.
We're going to start dying younger now, aren't we? Because of all this technology.
Starting to wonder.
Lack of exercise.
Yeah. The only exercise you ever got was chasing after beer and chips during a football game.
Yeah.
And now they're taking that away from us.
Well, I still have to get up and go to the bathroom.
There's just that. And I'm sure.
Or did you see that at CES too?
I'm sure there'll be something in the future where you won't have to do that either.
The robot's got an arm, legs, and a catheter. All right. A robotic urinal.
Wow. Soon coming to a, home improvement store near you.
KLXX Mandan Bismarck, a town square media station. Supertalk 1270.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The second deadly plane disaster in a week. A medical flight crashing in Northeast Philadelphia Friday night. Philadelphia Mayor Cheryl Parker.
We can confirm that there were 6 souls on board the plane that crashed on Cottman Avenue last evening. A pediatric patient, their mother, and a 4-person flight crew.
All dead, plus at least one person killed on the ground. Investigators recovering the black box from an Army Black Hawk helicopter that collided midair with a jetliner over the Potomac River, killing 67 people. 41 bodies recovered so far. Hamas today handing over Israeli-American hostage Keith Siegel, along with 2 other hostages, part of the ceasefire deal with Israel. President Trump's tariffs on goods and services from Canada and Mexico scheduled to take effect today. California officials say the deadly Eaton and Palisades fires are now fully contained. This is ABC News. California fire officials report the Palisades and Eaton fires are now both fully contained 24 days after they started, sowing death and destruction over the Los Angeles area. The cleanup, removing debris and hazardous waste from the entire neighborhood, well underway. ABC's Jory Rand.
Altadena is a flurry of activity. Cleanup crews, utility workers, and the United States Environmental Protection Agency. As outlined by LA Mayor Karen Bass, this is phase 1 in the process of getting people back to their properties. These crews are going home by home, meticulously digging through the rubble to remove potentially hazardous waste.
The fires, the second and third most destructive ones in California's history. 29 people killed and thousands of homes destroyed. The FDA is now raising a chocolate recall to the highest level. The agency says chocolate and yogurt-covered products from Calyi Farm may have undeclared ingredients, including nuts and milk, could cause serious health consequences or death. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, head dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. Mostly cloudy today, highs in the low 40s. Slight chance of snow tonight, a low of 15. Mostly sunny, breezy for Sunday with a high around 24. Chance of snow Sunday night, 2 below 0. High of 5 above on Monday and below 0 again Monday night. Interest-free bathroom remodels from BCI Bath and Shower. Call 800-329-4115. Currently 33 degrees.
From ABC Sports, I'm Joey Waller. College hoops today. Number 8, Tennessee buries 5th-ranked Florida.
Boswell between the circles. The freshman looking, fires it right side. Lanier comes off the pick, turns and hits a 3. Money!
Chaz Lanier, 19 points, 5 threes. Vols radio during their 64-44 laugher. Right now, second half, top-ranked Auburn leading 41-34 at Ole Miss. Kansas State, a 37-35 lead at Iowa State. Northwestern in front against Wisconsin, 31-25. Earlier, St. John's edges Providence, 68-66. 8 straight wins for the Red Storm. Kadari Richmond, 24 points, including the game-winning jumper with 2 seconds left. And Missouri rolls at Mississippi State, 88-61. ESPN says the Clippers are trading P.J. Tucker, Mo Bamba, and a second-rounder to the Jazz for Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills. Last night, Spurs crushed the Bucks with Giannis hitting the floor from a hard Chris Paul foul, causing Milwaukee's star to show some rare on-court anger.
They haven't tried me. You got to try me. People that know me, they don't try me. If you try me, it's a different side. Yeah, so if you try me, you're going to get that different side of me.
Suns roll at Golden State last night behind Devin Booker's 31 points. The 4-time All-Star left off this year's Western Conference squad.
It's just tough, man. There's so many talented players in the league now. So you could build a case probably for 3 or 4 guys on each side that, have a legitimate case of being an All-Star.
NHL right now in the third. It's the Panthers leading the Blackhawks 4-1. Sam Reinhart his 30th goal. Shortly, Rangers at Boston. Newly acquired J.T. Miller expected to start his second stint in a New York uniform. Pebble Beach, the leader, Sepp Straka, 15 under through 5.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Struggling with back taxes or unfiled returns? Owe the IRS $10,000 or more? With the IRS ramping up enforcement, taxpayers across the country are turning to tax relief helpers. Call 800-885-0622 now. End IRS stress today. Stop collection efforts, wage garnishments, and sleepless nights. Tax relief helpers can help you or your business settle your tax debt quickly and affordably. Call the Tax Relief Helpers hotline at 800-885-0622. That's 800-885-0622. Start your relief today.
Conservative talk without apology. The Regular Joe Show with Joe Gigante. Weekday evenings at 9 on Supertalk 1270 and the free Supertalk 1270 mobile app.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
I am looking for the name of the company of this most amazing technology that I saw at CES, and I can't find it right now. But
do they make cashew brittle? I was going to go get you a piece during the break. I forgot.
It's okay.
It's okay.
So
it's buttery.
This to me was astounding. I come walking by the booth, and there's this video of Billy Joel, right, playing the piano and singing. And it was kind of an AI generated thing. He's got a new song out, and they have him going from the younger years to his current age or whatever in this video. And there's this grand piano sitting there, and it's playing with the video.
Okay.
So the volume is turned down, on the video part of it, right? I mean, it's not like you're hearing Billy Joel sing. You're just watching the piano play like a player piano, but it's instead of having the player piano piece that would be in the player piano of old days, right? Or I'm sure there's other ways that can be done. It's synced up to the video that you're watching.
Wow.
And then on top of it, there's a trumpet.
Was Billy Joel actually playing the piano?
On the screen.
Well, okay, but can you get the AI generated?
Not a hologram type of scenario.
Because that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
If you could have Billy Joel hologram playing the piano.
That will be next.
Okay.
That's a great idea, and that will be next.
Because that would be okay. We talked about this because I think Whitney Houston was the first one you were.
Yeah, the holographic concert.
Yeah,
and we just went to ABBA here not too long ago.
Okay, if they're actually playing the instruments and you're watching, that's starting to get immersive.
This was incredible, though. I have to tell you, and it was a crowd pleaser as well. I mean, they had probably a 10 by 30 booth, so it's not a huge booth.
Did they have a microphone so you could get up there and sing karaoke with Billy Joel?
Well, that's kind of what they were referring to, that cool. You could do that type of thing if you wanted, right? But this it was just so cool.
Just remember, the more I drink, the better you sound.
It was just so cool to see this, right? This player piano working, and there would be this, Billy Joel is playing it, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, there are so many use cases for this, right? Oh, they had a trumpet too. They had a solo trumpet on a stand in front of a microphone.
Was it Armstrong playing it?
And when it was time for the trumpet to play, the trumpet played by itself. Is that cool or what?
Satchmo there?
I was just so impressed by this. And they're looking at other technologies like violins and things like this that play by themselves. So pretty soon you're just going to have this band that.
Well, this is where I was going. It's like, think of Leonard Skinner. We're getting the band back together. It's like we got everybody. Okay, so if you got a band like Skinner, it's like most everybody's passed on. We're getting the band back together.
There's just
you could do it with AI technology and hologram. They could play in their instruments, and
it's quite remarkable, isn't it?
Oh,
I sat there. I have to admit, that was probably the booth that I spent the most time in, because I love Billy Joel, and they played that thing like 3 times. I interviewed them. It's probably the longest interview I did of CES, and I started thinking about where you'd use this. And my first thing was like Italian eateries, right? I mean, you could have that piano up there. You'd have the video playing in the place.
Oh, I'm thinking Mexican.
And then
you get the mariachi band walking around.
Sure.
AI mariachi band.
You still have the holographic thing. Forget the holographic thing right now.
Okay,
just think of the instrument, right? But think of this. Think of...
Okay, I'm still going the mariachi band, but...
Think of these artists that could just play. It records their playing, and I'll just pick on Billy Joel or Elton John, right? And it's actually Elton John playing the piano. You could actually have Elton John having a concert someplace, right? And you have and they can do this, and you can have all these pianos hooked up to this concert, and as he's playing his thing, it's playing there as well.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool, isn't it? Think of churches. All these churches that probably don't have the greatest piano players playing, or maybe they don't even have anybody.
Come on now, leave the church lady alone.
Well, I mean, some of them are pretty good, right? And they're great, but maybe they don't even have, there's a lot of churches that don't have somebody that has that talent. You could just...
Or maybe it's just a small church, they have a little piano instead of the big pipe organ.
Yeah.
You got to have the big pipe organ.
Yeah. If you have just a little piano, and you could actually have a hymnal that's created, and they would just say, turn to page, turn to hymn number 432, and the piano just starts playing. It's not a recorded thing over whatever. It's an actual piano that is playing. I think this is just, I know it's not earth-changing.
Yeah, but that'd be a little creepy, though, if you had one of these in your house, so you could have, and then make 1 o'clock in the morning and started playing by itself. Might creep me out a little bit.
You could really freak some people out.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the hologram.
Yeah.
Because pairing that with this, I think is it's game changing to me.
You could just have the bench that sits there, and the projection of the hologram could come up out of the bench.
Yeah.
And you could see Billy Joel just playing the piano. Or
the violin player going around in the Italian restaurant, or the mariachi band, and it's a little robot tray that projects. And okay, where I'm going with this, though, it's like, do you have a bucket list of artists that you've wanted to see?
Yes.
Okay.
Phil Collins would be at the top.
I think most people do.
Yeah.
And one of my big bucket list artists was Jimmy Buffett.
Okay.
Didn't get a chance to see. I always wanted to go see Jimmy Buffett in the Keys. I could.
Yeah.
I could.
There will be a lot of that type of.
By the way, I give my wife crap about that all the time, because last year I took her on 2 of her bucket list concerts, and she'd never seen George Strait, and I took her to George Strait.
Oh my!
Straight down Arizona, and she is a big Ed Sheeran fan, and I took her to Ed Sheeran, and then I didn't get to see mine. He passed away.
How were both of those?
They were good.
Yeah,
I may have dozed off a little bit during Ed Sheeran, but
what? George Strait?
I love George.
Yeah.
It's boring, but I love George. You go for the music, you don't go for the show.
Right. Because he sits up there and plays.
I will say this, Ed Sheeran, amazing show in Minneapolis. Really? It was unbelievable. I'm not the biggest fan of his music, but the show was absolutely incredible.
Okay.
But I'm thinking Jimmy Buffett and the Keys, and maybe that dream is still alive, that one of my bucket list artists that I never got to see.
Well, I mean, it's just like us going to see ABBA in London here a few months ago. Same type of scenario. I mean, they're also alive, but they're not performing anymore. So, yeah.
And we're back with the Tech Ranch. Get ready for more amazing tech insights from the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
Well, there was a ripple this week in Wall Street.
Well, do you find it interesting that it was Wall Street where the ripple was?
Well, yeah, I do actually.
Okay, so we're talking about DeepSeek.
DeepSeek, yeah.
Brand new technology, AI technology, fraction of the cost is. So Trump just came out and, a week or two ago talking about $500 billion investment into AI and all these tech companies and ChatGPT and all the notable people that are involved with the AI are, this is expensive, it's money, but it's good investment, blah, blah, blah. And then the Chinese come out with DeepSeek and go, for pennies on the dollar, pennies on the yen, what? And you saw it nobody freaked out about the AI technology. They freaked about, oh my gosh, why is this so cheap? Because it was Wall Street where we first heard this. We didn't hear it in tech circles. We heard it in Wall Street first.
Yeah, and it's interesting. DeepSeek's been out for a little while already.
Yeah.
People have been talking about it already for a little bit.
Because it baited for quite a bit.
Yeah, and you can get it and put it on your phone now. And in fact, it's the number one download on Apple right now.
But would you?
Well, that's where we're going to go. So let's just talk about the.
Because I'm not going there. I'm not. I don't have TikTok on any of my devices.
Yeah.
Never signed up for that because of the origins of it.
Yeah.
DeepSeek, same thing. Not adding it to my portfolio of technology on my phone.
Well, and I think this is what you have to really think about, and we'll even dive into the cost a little bit.
Buy American.
So first, let's just go to DJ.
Because I would rather have the U.S. federal government stealing my information than some other foreign country.
And you have to kind of think about that too, I guess. But let's just talk about DJI for a second. So DJI is a drone manufacturer.
Right.
And
we're seeing a lot of that in the news right here in North Dakota right now because it's a Chinese company and we've got our legislative session taking place and they're replacing all those DJI drones.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There's legislation going and it's probably going to pass with 100% favorability is we don't want in North Dakota any information going to because DJI gets to carry the company. Now, it's funny because somebody brought up the point. It's like if I went to a Costco or Sam's Club or the big boxes, and I don't know if Best Buy falls in that category too, but you can't buy an American drone.
Well, they make some.
But that's the cost, the price point, not what a lot of these stores are carrying because they know people aren't going to buy them.
Well, this is the thing. So DJI makes one of the better drones out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But they also sell them for a half to a third of the price of what a comparable drone would be. So this is my theory. I think I'm pretty close, but this is my theory. Why, as the Chinese government, would I spend $100 billion, $200 billion a year or whatever to continue to put spy craft over the world? I'm talking about satellites.
When we'll get them to do it themselves.
When let's
pay us for that.
Let's just subsidize a drone company a couple $2 billion a year, and they make the best drones, or they make one of the best drones. But let's make sure that they're a half to a third of the price of other drones that are out there. And when you go in and you're looking to buy a drone, and this one is $800 and does everything that the $3,000 one does. Why would you not buy the $800 one? And that's exactly what has gone on. So, I mean, I own 3 DJIs myself. They're great drones. I fly them all the time. And
every time you fly one, you're collecting
data for the Chinese government.
Right.
So, and you might not think that that's
and this is not conspiracy theory stuff. This is fact.
Right. So this is the thing you have to think about. I'm not out there spying on anything. But I want you to really think about the scenario here. You are out on a nice weekend with your family. You decide to go camping, and there's this campground underneath the Garrison Dam. What is that called? The spillway?
Yeah, down the spillway. There's a park down there.
There's a beautiful little campground down there, right? So you're down there
Missouri
camping.
River.
you're down there camping, and one of your kids says, Dad, let's put the drone up. I'm going to go do blah, blah, blah. So let's film that so Mom can watch it later, type of thing, right? So they go out and they do this thing, whether they're swimming in the river or kayaking or fishing or whatever they're doing, right? And as you're filming this with your drone, you just happen to catch the dam.
You're taking photos of critical infrastructure.
You're catching all this stuff in the background. They could care less about the fact that you caught a fish. What they're interested in is that background information. So we have provided all of this stuff to the Chinese government. Okay, so that's the first volley.
So the drone's $800 and whatever their cost to make it was, versus a couple $1 billion satellite that you're putting up in space to take the same pictures, except you're going to have a closer picture, better resolution picture, and we're getting paid to collect that data rather than paying to collect that data.
Yeah, I mean, maybe paid, because I do believe that the Chinese government subsidizes that so that they get those prices down. But there are other ways that you pay for services and things like that with DJI, right? So then let's go to TikTok. So TikTok is kind of the same scenario, right? It actually collects data way more because everybody has devices. So it's an app that it's all based on videos. And again, you're out there with your family, you take some cool shots, and you happen to catch this infrastructure in the background. The challenge is that there's so much information. Sifting through video takes a lot of computing power. Oh my goodness. It might be not as much, or it takes more than it used to, but there's better computers to do this stuff with, but it's a lot of information. But could
you imagine the Chinese military person sitting in a little room by themselves trying to collect information on critical infrastructure? How many flossing videos they have?
Oh, goodness.
That poor bastard.
Yes. But this is the other thing about it, right? They actually, we're our own worst enemy. When you're out there, they're encouraging us to put hashtags on everything, right? So when you're at the Garrison Dam, what's the hashtag you put on there?
They just Google Garrison Dam.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So we've actually allowed them to make our stuff searchable without having to go through and do the analytics on the videos. If they want to just find, 100 videos on the Garrison Dam, they could find that real easy on TikTok.
All different kinds of angles.
So that's kind of what's gone on right now with DJI and with TikTok. And then, of course, now we're going to be starting to talk about DeepSeek. But I wanted to give you the premise about why we're at where we're at and the implications of what DeepSeek could do as well. And I think this is probably going to blow your mind. So we'll talk about it next.
You've returned to the Tech Ranch, where technology is our passion. Let's jump back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve.
So we're just talking about DeepSeek and the ripple that it had in Wall Street. And in the last segment, if you're just catching up with us, we just talked about DJI
spying
and TikTok and spying. And we're not going to rehash that. If you want to hear it, and I would recommend it if you're just catching up to us, just catch the podcast a little bit later.
But spying with drones, and we're doing it to ourselves with DJI,
and
it's
TikTok.
like weather balloons. We don't know stinking weather balloons.
That was just a diversion.
That's old technology.
Yeah, yep.
Or satellites. They don't need the satellites anymore.
So that's right. That's the whole point. I mean, why do you wouldn't have to spend, and I'm sure that they don't. They probably at one time talked about, we'll put up a bunch of new satellites or whatever. And they're like, wait a second. They all have devices over there. Why don't we figure out a way to use the things that they have now? And we won't have to spend that much money at all. We'll subsidize the making of these things and development of these things.
Let's let them do it for us.
Let's let them do it for us. And that's exactly what's been going on. All right. So DeepSeek. So DeepSeek sent ripples, just absolute ripples, because
tidal waves,
the cost of stuff. But I don't want to. I really, the cost is one thing, but I think you have to think about other things. We'll get into the cost in a little bit. So the spying part, odds are pretty good I mean, you hear about the Chinese hacking our government all the time, and they hack stuff all the time, right? But we have protocols in place. I mean, we try to stop that. Where it's always this war going on, the cyber attacks and all these things that are going on, right? And I'm sure we do the same thing back to them, right? And other countries. But this is the interesting thing about this. I'm just going to bring our friend Senator Kramer into this mix, right? I'm sending a letter to Senator Kramer, and I get all my points, and I write it up or whatever, but I don't like really how it sounds, right? So I would traditionally, because I'm a big user of like Claude and ChatGPT and these other AIs, Google's AI, Gemini, I use those things a lot to help polish up, to make it sound more professional or more personal, whatever I want to do. I can type it. I have a thing called All Things Marlo in my ChatGPT space, right? And I've trained it about me, and it writes like I write and like I speak, right? So if I want this letter to Senator Kramer to sound like I wrote it personally, it can actually make it sound like I wrote it personally, but polishes it up a little bit, right? So I do these things and I send the letter off, right? If I did the same thing with DeepSeek, and they were looking for communications to Senator Kramer or any senator or representative that we have on the House, or maybe even the president himself, or to Sony or to whatever. You don't even have to have like security protocols on your email and things like this, because they're going to get it at the source. You are literally dropping in this correspondence to polish it up. And I'm going to guess right now that anybody doing these type of things is using AI to clean up their stuff, right?
Right, because we're lazy.
All this information, well, I mean, it's just a big time saver. I mean, instead of spending an hour, I shouldn't say lazy, we're just busy doing so many things. That instead of spending an hour, maybe you can get this email done in 10 minutes, right? This is the point I'm getting at here. And all of a sudden, our AI, or these AIs that we're using, are getting this stuff. Well, if the AI is the Chinese government in some regard or another, this is the ultimate perfect way to spy on ideas and correspondence, security, everything that's going on in our country. So then you take and you add the price to this, right? ChatGPT would cost this much per API call, which is a call. Basically, a call in this situation would be I ask it a question or ask it to do something. And if I have an app that I've developed or whatever that is connected, we pay every time somebody asks it to do something. It might be a fraction of a penny or 2 pennies or whatever it is, right? But when it's basically free, and at the end of the month, you get the bill, right? And the bill can be hundreds, it can be thousands of dollars, whatever it looks like, right? All of a sudden, you're doing this for a tenth of the price, like what DeepSeek is saying that it is. Then all of a sudden, you're like, well, why would I spend $2,000 a month when I can spend $200 or it's free or whatever over here, right? This is what's scary about this. And I hear it's pretty good, but I absolutely will not put it on my device because of all of this. Does that make sense?
Well, it's like the DGI. It's like, hey, let's undercut the market price and everybody will use this and we collect the data.
Right.
Same thing with DeepSeek. Let's undercut the market price. And that was the ripple we saw on Wall Street.
Yes.
Gee, kind of sounds like Richmond Valentine from the Kingsman, doesn't it?
And this is the other thing about that, right? You have to understand who you're dealing with here, right?
On their phone.
You cannot tell me with a straight face that the Chinese government isn't subsidizing this.
Of course they are.
And do you think they're reporting that?
Of course not.
So when they come out and say that they did this for $5 million, that might be their cost. But it's not the $1 billion that the Chinese government gave them.
It was probably $5 billion, and here, pay $5 million.
Yep.
And well, okay, so that was the big announcement, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago or so, with Trump and the investment in AI. It's $500 billion.
Yes.
People kind of went, huh? That's what it costs.
Yeah.
That's what it costs. And then the ripple was because of, well, we did this for fractions of pennies. Well, yeah, but you didn't hear the full side of the story because you and I know It costs a lot more than that.
It does. The one thing about it, though, and I see that ChatGPT is bringing out their 403 mini January 30th. And so if you haven't had a chance to play with it yet, I know on mine it's there. I have a paid version of ChatGPT, but I have heard rumors, and I guess I could just use a phone that does, or I could even open up an account that I have that would be free, and just to see if it's there. But I've heard rumors that they're just going to offer 403 to everybody, and they get 100 questions a day. So, and that is this competition that's come up now because of DeepSeek is actually going to benefit us with other AI models, because they're going to say, well, we probably can't charge what we've been wanting to charge. So it's going to drive that cost down too. And I think even NVIDIA, it's open their eyes and say, hey, we can't 4X our stuff anymore.
Okay, but we're looking at the federal government subsidizing this because they know that this is the new arms race.
Right.
And that's why the U.S. government is subsidizing with that $400 billion or $500 billion investment, or the chip side of things. It's an arms race.
We have to be the best in this, or you're right, we lose. It's as simple as that.
So when you're looking at what the future looks like, how long before we really do have Skynet?
Oh my goodness. I knew you were going to go there. It's robots and AI all over again. I love the Tesla robot, by the way.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
All right. We have been all over the place today, but we're going to end with robots.
Can robots go in the water?
Yeah.
Well, some can.
Yeah. They have
the humanoid ones. It's like,
Yeah, I mean they have like the drone type of robots. So
it's refreshing.
Underwater
pH
drones.
Water
I ran out already. Oh no, I have a little left.
Yeah,
I have a little left.
It's good water. It's like out of the air. I love that.
It's
deconnected
cool.
Or whatever word you used.
Yeah, I forget. Demonocratized. I can't even say it now.
Yeah, deconnected. We're just going
you're the one that's got me messed up now. Anyway. Yeah, Cara Water. Check it out, everybody. If you're just joining us, we have a machine in our building here now that just pulls water out of the air.
Yeah, not attached to the wall, not plumbed in. No, just you can put it anywhere you want.
Sexy little machine that's about the size of a water cooler, but a lot thinner.
My big water bottle doesn't.
Well, it's because
it's a thermos. Basically,
opening doesn't fit in. That's a big water bottle. That's all.
It's huge.
The so huge that you could hear that. It was significant when you put it down on the counter there. That's right. Yeah. All right. So the Tesla robot. Have you been watching this at all?
A little bit. It's pretty cool.
We're going to get to Yarbo now too. So,
all right, I'm jazzed.
The Tesla robot is a humanoid robot, and you can task it to do things. You can task it to cook for you. You can task it to take your dog for a walk or clean your house. And when I say clean your house, it's like, do the things that I wouldn't normally do, like get all the cobwebs out of the corners and do all these things.
I hate dusting. Dust for me.
It will do these things. And
that's why I hate knickknacks.
Like I had mentioned somebody, that's the thing. You could have it dust all your knicknacks all the time.
Pick all that stuff up, put back in the same spot.
Yeah.
Clean the shelf.
Yeah.
Those things are on. Clean them.
This is the thing I like about our robot vacuums, right? Because instead of vacuuming like every Saturday or whatever you used to do, you can have them do your house every day if you want. Well,
a lot of people do.
And you just have them work when you're not there.
Yeah, the Shark, the Roomba, the people vacuum every day. They never stop.
Yeah, and then
it's kind of like the lawnmowers. They never stop.
They never stop. And your yard always looks nice. Your carpet or your hardwood floor always looks like it's been vacuumed because
if you had 70s shag carpet, could you use the autonomous lawnmower in the house
just to mow it down? So it'd be 90 shag carpet.
Maybe
that's too funny. Can you mow the carpet one time, please?
Well, they suck all the stuff up too.
They do, yeah. So the Tesla robot will do those things. It would help you with childcare. So if you have a toddler or a baby in the house that likes to get up at 2:00 in the morning, you could even task it to do that if you trust the robot. I mean, these are the things that you have to learn to trust, I guess. But
don't drop the baby.
And probably the biggest thing for me right away, and by the way, these are starting to be shipped just to predetermined people and Tesla employees.
Are you a predetermined people, Mark?
I don't know. I would like to be.
Are you on that list?
Can you imagine like your aging parent who you're trying to determine if you're gonna, you're talking about maybe an assisted living facility or something like this.
Because they need extra care.
Yeah, they just need, and it's just the day-to-day stuff more than anything else, right? If you had an assistant that would cook for you and cook the things you're supposed to have, it doesn't matter if it's been tasked to say you get no salt, then you.
When I get older, screw that. I want the things I want.
Well, okay, so there you go, and that's okay. But this thing would actually keep your house clean, and if you want a pet. And you want the benefits of having a pet without you don't have the ability to maybe take it for a long walk or things anymore or clean up after it. Your robot will do these things for you.
Okay, how long before the robot's the pet?
Well, they have some of those already.
Remember Daggett
Luna
from Battlestar Galactica?
Oh, yeah. Luna's out there right now. And Luna is a pretty cool little robot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these things are starting to appear as well. But this is, and the thing is that they're expecting their price tag to be around $20,000 for the robot. How much does it cost to live in an assisted living facility for a year?
Right. Or how many people have a maid service that comes in a couple times a week too?
Sure.
What's that cost?
And yeah, you have to charge it up. It has to go and charge up or whatever. I mean, there's that ongoing cost, and I'm sure there'll probably be some maintenance things or whatever that go along with that. Maybe there's even a subscription plan. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a subscription plan for walking the dog. So if you want that service, you have to turn it on and pay $9.99 a month. I don't know the answers yet for those type of things, but that's the beauty of this, in my opinion. And I look at the autonomous mower.
I could have the Yarbo walk my dog.
Yes. So if you had a Yarbo in your yard, and it mowed your yard, I have an autonomous mower, but the Yarbo goes a little bit further. We'll describe that in a second. Then
I still want to pick up dog poop too.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
So it gave me 100 hours back last summer. I figured it out. It was about 100 hours of mowing that I didn't do.
Nice.
That's great, isn't it? Now, if you have a robot that's now doing these other things, I was just on the air at KFGO a couple days ago, and Amy Eiler, she was like, "There's no way I would do this." And then on the commercial break, she's like, she's got young ones, and she's like, "I just rush home from work, I do laundry, I cook, I got to run the kids around and do these things." And she's like, "Oh my goodness, I spend 3 or 4 hours every night doing stuff that this robot could do." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "So we could just like go to the playground?" I said, "Yeah, you could go to the playground and let the robot do the laundry for you."
Or have the robot take your kids to the playground.
Yeah, there would be that too. That'll probably happen as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and with
Hey, Rosie, take the kids to the playground.
So Yarbo gives you time back. Yarbo cuts the yard. It shovels the snow for you. It's not a Tesla robot. It's basically a yard maintenance machine. It takes out the garbage. Did you see the robotic vacuum that's got an arm on it now?
Yes, you told me about that.
Yes. So there's your dog poop scenario. Yep. I would imagine that there'll be lawnmowers now that'll probably have an arm
little
attached.
doggy poop bag and
yep, there you go.
And
I can see that happening.
Oh yeah.
That'll be the very next thing, because if you can do that inside with socks, why can't you do it outside?
Well, they have pooper picker upper little devices now that just like pops it down and loads the bag itself.
But I am actually excited about robots coming and the ability to save time on these tasks, so you can do other things like go watch a baseball game.
I don't know how you're one of those select people, though. That's my question.
I don't know either.
Marlo's.
I wonder if I can just talk to Elon. And
give him a call.
I'll do that. He can ignore mine like everybody else's. Well, here's my call right now. Elon, call me. I want a Tesla robot.
And that's a wrap on another fantastic episode of the Tech Ranch. Remember, if you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology.